Hey there and welcome to Technology. Paul, today I'm going to tell you all about Sirius XM satellite radio, which, as you guessed it, is a satellite-enabled radio service. And this is actually a follow-up review from 2020 when I initially reviewed the service. It's now 2022. I want to give you a fresh take on it. Now, when you think about all of the available options out there for audio entertainment, you've got music streaming services like Spotify and Apple. You've got podcasts, audiobooks, and even internet radio services like Pandora. So is there still a place for radio in your life? When you get into the car, what do you do for music? With Bluetooth or Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, you can simply listen to music from your phone. You obviously have all of your local radio stations too, but a third option, which I would bet is available in your car, is SiriusXM satellite radio. Now here's the appeal. You get into your vehicle at any point and you can listen to the same old stations from your local area, or you can choose music from your phone. But sometimes we get sick of the same old libraries and playlists, so why not spice things up by accessing up to 160 channels in your vehicle? What's more, and I don't think most people know this, SiriusXM extends far beyond the car with the magic of the internet. They have an app that's available on all kinds of devices, including your phone, which gives you access to hundreds more channels, podcasts, news, and more. Well, what do you think? It sounds intriguing, right? But is it worth it, especially when there's so many other options out there? Let's dig in. SiriusXM has three main plans. First, you have the Platinum plan for $22.99, in which you get 425 channels total, 160 of which are in your car, and we will get to where the other 265 are in a moment. But as you can see, you get music, talk radio, sports, and Howard Stern. Howard Stern being one of the biggest talk radio hosts out there, a huge star exclusive to Sirius, and he's very popular, hence why they have him featured here. Now, if you don't need Howard Stern or sports, you can opt for the music and entertainment package at $17.99. You still get a total of 400 channels between the app and the car. Then if you just want the streaming platform, you don't need the service in your vehicle, you can get Streaming Platinum for $10.99 a month. You basically get all the channels in the Platinum plan through the app or the web experience. With all of these plans, you'll notice they list personalized music streaming stations with Pandora. Well, that doesn't seem to be accurate in Canada. Pandora is actually a separate internet radio service that is owned by Sirius, but their app isn't available in Canada. I can't seem to find any of these personalized Pandora stations through the Sirius app. Maybe someone who knows what I'm missing can share in the comments, but I'm just not seeing it. Now, the in-vehicle experience hasn't changed much over the last 2 years since my previous review. That's probably because I haven't gotten a new vehicle. However, here's how it works. You can select satellite radio and just start browsing stations once you link up your radio ID to your Sirius subscription. You can browse the entire channel list, or you can browse by the category of station or by genre. Plus, in my vehicle, I can select up to 13 favorites, which is kind of one of the best parts. Realistically, even though I get 160 channels in my vehicle, we all know I'm only going to listen to maybe 10% of those on a regular basis. And because this is radio, not every song you hear is going to be your jam. So with the tap of a button on my steering wheel, I can quickly cycle through all my favorite stations to find something that I do like. Another interesting thing you can do in your car is select favorite artists or songs. When you hear a song or artist you like, you just tap the favorite button to save it to your favorites list. And how this works is that the next time this song or artist is played on any of your available channels, you'll actually get an alert on the screen to prompt you to switch stations. While satellite radio is over 15 years old now, I'm still generally just impressed with how well it all works. Remember that you're getting a radio signal from space. Now, essentially, Sirius has ground stations which transmit the audio signals to geostationary satellites in Earth's orbit. From there, the satellites beam down the digital signal to the receivers on our cars. And this is aided by ground transmitters usually in urban areas where tall buildings can block out the satellite signal. This remains one of the biggest benefits of satellite radio. You can do a 1,000-mile road trip and you'd never have to change the station due to a lost signal. You could be in the middle of nowhere with no FM radio frequencies, no self-service, but you'll still be jamming out to your satellite radio. When it comes to sound quality, it's typically pretty good, and you won't get any of the interference like with normal radio. However, it's not going to be as high quality as, say, a CD or anything like that. It's a compressed digital signal being sent from space after all. Now, in the mobile app, you can actually select your audio streaming quality between normal, high, and maximum. But through the satellite receiver in your vehicle, I'm pretty sure you're gonna get an audio quality that's closer to that normal setting. When it comes to getting this service in your car, most vehicles have a satellite radio receiver built in, as Sirius has done deals with most of the manufacturers. That said, you may have an older vehicle and you still want satellite radio. Well, you're in luck because you can get a portable radio with a vehicle kit for an aftermarket installation. You can put this little player on your dash and just pop the antenna on your roof and you're good to go. Now that's the in-vehicle experience. When Sirius XM first launched, that's the only experience they had. But in 2022, the internet is pretty well established. So let's take a look at the online experience. Sirius has got a mobile app for both smartphones and tablets. And you can also go to the website and listen through your browser. When you launch the app, you've got 4 tabs along the bottom: Discover, Favorites, Recent, Search, and Settings. The Discover tab is actually what it sounds like. You get a For You section, which essentially recommends things to you, whether it be different stations, playlists, podcasts, and so on, some of which is dictated by your listening history. Right now, the app is kind of decked out for Halloween with recommendations like Scream Radio, the Freaky 50 playlist, and so on. And as I scroll down, I get different recommendations like music, sports, and news. From here, you can also browse the available live channels manually. It starts off with all the same stations you can get in your car, but soon you start to find some of the other hundreds of channels to pick from. And there's really something for everyone, I'd say. Beyond the most popular channels like Hits 1, Pop 2K, The Beatles, Alt Nation, there's lots of channels for everyone's tastes. BPM, electronic, hip hop nation, 70s and 90s R&B, country music, show tunes, kids music, Disney hits, and everything in between. Sports is a big one too. PGA Tour, NHL Network, NASCAR, MLB, NBA, ESPN, and more. There's also comedy stations like Comedy Central and Kevin Hart's LOL Radio. You get news like 3 Fox News stations, CNN, HLN, MSNBC, Bloomberg, BBC, NPR, and the list goes on. There's top 500 stations like Top 500 Pop, Top 500 80s, 90s, classic rock, and every other genre. There's also SoundCloud Radio, which I believe samples some of the biggest SoundCloud hits, and SoundCloud is also owned by Sirius, so that partnership makes a lot of sense. There's holiday stations too, and the other thing is Sirius will actually add more specific types of stations seasonally. So for example, we're only a few weeks away from getting access to probably 6 or 7 Christmas stations. Sirius also has podcasts, and that's kind of interesting, but it also kind of makes sense. Podcasts are a lot like talk radio, so I think they're trying to get you to use this as a podcast player as well, which makes it your one-stop shop for everything. Plus, you get access to their video content from across their channels. There's several artist performances, video podcasts, interviews, and so on. If you want to dive into specific sections, you can jump into music, sports, news, and talk. At the bottom of each section, there's categories list, which allows you to dive deeper into the section. And if you didn't think there was enough stations before, there's actually additional stations, which are kind of like playlists that act like radio stations. They're called extra channels, and there's probably a couple hundred of them across the spectrum of content. These are great because you might dive into one of the standard stations you listen to regularly, but then the app feeds you recommendations for these extra stations to dive deeper into the niche. And these are quite nice. It's like a never-ending playlist that you can pop on while you're cooking or cleaning and you're good to go. If you flip over to the Favorites tab, you'll see all of your favorite stations, shows, and episodes. If you want to favorite a station, it's really easy to do. You just hit the star button and you can come back to it anytime in the Favorites tab. Recent is super useful considering there's so much content here to explore. It might be easy to lose something you were listening to. So from here you can find anything that you've queued up recently. You can of course search for artists, stations, radio hosts, topics, and so on. Then there's the settings tab. From here you can change some of your notification settings, but you can also go into application settings and change your audio streaming quality and change some of your player controls. You can also manage your downloads, which prompts the next question: what can you download? Not music, unfortunately, but you can download lots of podcasts and talk radio episodes. All right, what do I think overall? Well, as you can tell, I am a Sirius subscriber, so I must like some of what they're doing, and it's true, I do like the service overall. If you've watched some of my other videos, you might know I also have an Apple Music subscription, and I think that these two services play different roles for me. I do enjoy Sirius XM, but not typically through the online app. It's 99% through the car. When I'm at home or listening to music on my phone, then I typically have the time and space to find what I want to listen to and just browse around, and I can find a certain artist, playlist, album, and so on, and I've got all my personal curated music to choose from as well. And that's all through Apple Music. But when I get into the car, I really prefer just to load up the radio. I could listen to the music that is on my phone via Bluetooth, but then I have to do a lot of active thinking about what I want to listen to, which takes away from that primary task of, driving. So what I like about SiriusXM is the ability to jump into the car, turn on the radio, and think, do I like this song? And if not, just flip through my favorites list until I find something that I do like. It's a super simple listening experience, and I get the side benefit of getting some music discovery out of it too. I often hear songs that I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna go home and add this to my collection, and I'll later on go into Apple Music and add it to my library. So in short, there's quite a few benefits to SiriusXM. Not everyone will agree with me, but I think it's a decent service. But they still have one major thing working against them. Their price is still way too high. With prices ranging from $11 to $22 a month, you're paying more for this than a streaming music subscription from Apple or Spotify. And I don't really think that makes a lot of sense. And it's the pricing that probably holds SiriusXM back. It's why most people won't get a subscription to their service, and that little satellite radio button in their cars will remain completely useless. And that's the truth. But I will tell you a secret. Do not just go and pay for a subscription on the Sirius website. Just call them. Yes, just pick up the phone and call them. They will give you a discount, guaranteed. You won't even have to push for it. They will straight up just offer it to you. They give discounts out like candy, so don't be one of the few suckers who pays full price. What do you think of SiriusXM satellite radio? What do I have right or wrong about this service? Have you tried it in your vehicle or in the app? I really want to hear your thoughts because I find that a lot of people have kind of strong opinions about this service and this company. So let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, click that like button as it helps other people find it who might want to learn more about SiriusXM. And if you like tech, gaming, or software and service reviews, click subscribe. I've always got something new in the works and I upload new content all the time. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next one.